Welcome to the Roadmap, Benzinga's NFT show. We've got a great one for you. I know a lot of people have been excited to get this interview here on Benzinga. We will be talking to one of the co-founders of Cool Cats, a top 10 NFT project out there, guys. You don't want to miss this. Stay tuned. This is the Roadmap. All right, everyone. As I said, Cool Cats will be coming on in just a couple of minutes. Before we get into today's show, today's interview, I do want to give a shout out to our sponsor, FTX US, one of the largest cryptocurrency exchanges in the world in terms of trading volume and daily users. The FTX app is used by over 6 million people to buy crypto and NFTs, no transaction or withdrawal fees. You can use your phone or computer, and the FTX US trading platform offers NFT trading on both the Ethereum and Solana blockchains with no gas fees. You can find out more about FTX by clicking on the link in the description or in the chat right now. So if you have not signed up for or want more information about FTX, the link is right there. Without further ado, I think it's time to bring on my co-host, Benzinga's own Brian Moir. Brian, what's going on, buddy?
Here I am. I'm here.
Here you are. And Brian, we have such an exciting show today. We are going to dive into the world of Cool Cats. I am also excited to say that Benzinga has a contest going on right now. We are going to be giving away $1,000 in Ethereum. That's right, folks. You can win Ethereum. Your chance to get into some of these NFT projects like a Cool Cat. So don't miss that. Let's drop that link in the description right now. There are several ways to enter the contest, and you have until Thursday. You can visit Benzinga on YouTube, visit Benzinga on Facebook, follow Benzinga on Twitter, retweet Benzinga on Twitter, share the giveaway with your friends, enter our Discord, and watch Cool Cats live on Benzinga, which you are doing right now if you're here. So step one already done. You also can earn 5 additional entries into the contest by entering our secret YouTube code. What is the secret YouTube code?
What is it?
I'm not going to say it yet. You have to stay tuned, and you've got to watch today's interview to get that code. So stick around. I will be giving that exclusive code at the end of today's show for your chance to win additional entries into that $1,000 Ethereum giveaway. Brian, it looks like people in the chat are already asking for the code. So one more time, I will be sharing that code at the end of today's episode. You don't want to miss this. Yeah, a little bit of a tease there, but we got to do it here. Brian, let's dive into Cool Cats, right? We talk about NFTs, dating back to last year. This one was in July of 2021, which makes it, on the earlier side of the run of 2021, right? And they had a mint cost of 0.06, which was later lowered to 0.02 ETH, which we will get into. Floor price now 8.59 Ethereum. Sales volume of over 95,000 Ethereum. This is a top 10 by sales volume NFT project. They're also launching a whole new ecosystem, right? We have Cooltopia, which is building out with Cool Cats, Cool Pets, a milk token, and more. They also recently signed a talent agency deal with CAA. That is a trend that we are seeing in the NFT space, right? To monetize projects, to get TV, movie deals. So super excited to dive into that. And then also I'm excited to say that in our NFT March Madness bracket challenge, where we put 64 NFTs against each other, Cool Cats has advanced to the Sweet 16. So they need your votes to move on. We will be sharing that bracket either later today or tomorrow. Live on stream, you'll see Brian, Alyssa, and I vote For our Elite 8 winners, I'm going to drop that bracket in the chat as well. So you can go vote for Cool Cats right now in the Sweet 16. Brian, anything else before we get into today's interview?
Besides, this is one of the interviews I'm most excited for. I mean, we got the Time collab. We got toy. There's so much to get into. I'm not even gonna ruin it all. I mean, there's so much stuff that we're gonna talk about. It's gonna be really fun, exciting, a lot really educational for people. If you're new to this space, you're getting like a first look at one of the blue chip of blue chips. I mean, the next one is like Bored Ape Yacht Club. So you're here, you're in it, you're winning. We're all winning. And the secret code may be coming later.
We're all winning. We're all going to make it, Brian. I think it's time to get into today's interview again. Cool Cats, I think it's time. What do you say we roll that trailer?
Run it.
All right, awesome. Straight fire with the trailer once again. Shout out to Kashev on our video team for putting together that trailer. Get us hyped. I am pleased to welcome on to the roadmap today one of the co-founders of Cool Cats. We have Evan Luza, better known as Elu in the Discord. Evan, welcome to the roadmap.
Man, you guys do such a good job of like hyping. I was watching all these trailers. I'm like, let's go. We like the cats. We're gonna make it.
We like the cats. Yeah. We love it. Again, shout out to Kashev for putting that trailer together. And Evan, something we didn't talk about before we started the stream up here. Yeah, Benzinga did a NFT March Madness challenge. I'm a huge fan of March Madness in college basketball. And I said, hey, wait a sec. We're doing a stock March Madness contest. I think we should do an NFT one. So I put together 64 NFT collections based on sales volume and some projects we've had on the stream before. And I'm happy to say that Cool Cats has advanced to the Sweet 16. But I think they're going to need some votes because it looks like up against Mutant Ape Yacht Club, a 3 versus 2 seed. So that could be pretty interesting, but we'll make sure.
That's a very cool idea. Yeah. What happens if you win
you get to come on the show and you get to get each one of us.
Right now the prize is to be determined, but we will see. We'd love to have whoever wins come on and get a trophy or get some sort of way to present that award. So to be determined.
NFT.
That would be cool. We can do a show with some POAPs or something like that. So
yeah.
All right. Well, Evan, let's dive into some questions here. I know there's a lot of people here excited to hear more about Cool Cats. Before we jump into Cool Cats, just wondered if you could give viewers and listeners a little bit of background on your history and experience in NFTs and cryptocurrency prior to the project.
Yeah, so my background is design and illustration. I previously worked at Bitcoin.com and helped them with their rebrand. And Klon, the illustrator and creator of Blue Cat, we actually went to design school together back in Georgia and Atlanta, from where we're from. So I had seen him drawing his character Blue Cat, who was evolved over time, like for many years. But it wasn't until I was dipping my toes into the NFT space last year that we sort of formulated and linked up and had this idea to, wait a second, what if we bring Blue Cat to the blockchain? And it was just what started as an idea and a passion project with me, Klon, and Tom and Link, 2 guys we had met from Twitter. We blinked our eyes and it's been this surreal whirlwind of like, wait a second, this is crazy. But so that's my background. That's the quick TLDR on that one.
Yeah, and I was going to ask you, how the team came together, but you really got into it a little bit there. So any follow-up just on, who led or who said, hey, wait a sec, guys, like we have this design, we have this sweet, Blue Cat, we should do an NFT collection and really launch this project together?
Yeah, so I got into crypto in 2017. So I'd been a crypto boy. So, I'd been around the block a little bit, but I think like a lot of people, when you introduce your friends into NFTs, there's, for the most part, the people who aren't in it, there's that like apprehension sort of like, so what is this? It's just a JPEG. And then once you start onboarding and explaining them like, oh, it's digital collectibles. It's sort of the next evolution of, it's Pokemon cards or Yu-Gi-Oh cards or Beanie Babies, but they're tokenized now. You can see authentic ownership, and once the gears start wearing, it starts to click. So after I had that moment for me, I had the idea to launch my a collection. I'm not going to get into it because it never saw fruition, but I coincidentally brought on Klon. I reached out to him because he was doing animation stuff at the time. So I started acclimating him and sort of onboarding and red pilling him into crypto and NFTs and sort of the opportunity at hand. Because I think a lot of people, like right when the apes were coming out, there was a lot of opportunists in the space because there was definitely way more demand than there was supply. So I was sort of explaining him the opportunity that I saw. And then long story short, we found the kick butt devs and tech side, Tom and Link, on Twitter, because that was what we needed. We could do the creative and the brand and the art stuff and a bit of the marketing, but we didn't have the mental wherewithal or the technicalities to do the smart contract or even like the making a button on a website talk to calling the mint function. So we didn't have that. So we put our noodles together, and Klon, he has a poster of a blue cat on his wall that's like, it's a bunch of different outfits, like a ninja, like a hot dog wearing a dog mask, and it's like something he's done years ago. And we're just like, what should we do with these guys? And just like, wait a second, like Jimmy Neutron brain blast, like it was here the whole time. So it just made sense, it made sense. So that's how that one went.
Yeah, I love, there was a post on Twitter that Klon made where he showed like a little table like at it, like art fair or something, and it was like how it started, what it is now, and I was like, that's so cool to see. Yeah,
from the mud. Yeah, I was there with him.
Yeah, there it is. Yeah,
there's a picture that never did hit the internet. That was the cartoonist in Friends, and I was with him the next day in that tent, and it was just a gross muddy day. This one was that one's for him though, but awesome. Crazy to look back.
I mean, it's crazy to see something like that. That is incredible. I mean, that's awesome.
It was surreal being in New York. It's funny because the space moves so fast that like I feel like we're still processing the fact that we sold out on Mint in like July. Like it's just there's so like I'm still processing being in New York and seeing the billboard, and like so much of the accolades, and just you open up Twitter and you see Steve Aoki just like with some custom Cool Cat shoes. And you're just like, what? Like, okay. Like, wow, this is incredible. So yeah, I can only imagine what it feels like for Klon too, because that's like his baby, his baby. Like the creator of Blue Cat. That's like, it's next level.
That's awesome. And I mean, we keep talking about July. I mean, it hasn't even been a year yet, and look at everything that's been accomplished and what is still to come. Evan, I want to talk about one of the things about Cool Cats was when the mint happened. There was a decision to lower the mint cost from 0.06 to 0.02. Can you just walk us through a little bit of what went into that decision and why maybe it was so important in the early success of the project?
Yeah, so we opened the floodgates initially, and we had done all sorts of number crunching, and you can only make so many assumptions and forecast so much data to land what you think is on like the perfect number or something. So we were super flying under the radar. This was a point in time in the NFT land and Discord space that like you had to go sort of hunt for projects, whereas now these projects that things are just like put on your radar. Your friend tells you the alpha, and the Discord gets 50,000 users before like the next day. So this was a very like it was a simpler time, which is a funny thing to say because it was literally just last year. So we had or 9 months ago, whatever it may be. So we had a little bit of traction and awareness and followers. So we had people in the Discord. I'm curious myself to go back and get like a better read on what those numbers were. But we landed on 0.06 because it felt healthy. And we opened the floodgates, and I think a couple hundred sales, maybe like 300 or 400. And then it was just really, really stagnant. But there was this conversation happening in front of us of people just like we'll buy more. I want to buy more, but like I want to get more bang for my buck. So like if you guys want to lower the mint, like, you know, and just people like do it, lower the mint. Like, you know how Discord goes. It's just
one
you can't
person
even keep up with
comments
the
and
chat.
everyone goes.
Yeah. You know, all sorts of memes and gifs flying in. So, and then Tom, I felt sorry for him at that moment because he had just made sure everything on the smart contract was all buttoned up for 0.06. So it's like limelight's on you. Hundreds, if not thousands, of people are in the Discord being like, "Do the thing." So we hop in a huddle real quick, and he's like, "All right, like, founder decision, and we want to do this or not?" And we're like, "I think that's what the people want. Let's do this." It was like no pressure. Like go tweak the code real quick that you had just spent so much time getting into its perfect spot. So yeah, we knocked down the minting 0.02, and then over the course of 6 hours we sold out, which was another crazy thing. Like I can't projects now. It's like we minted out in 1 minute. You know, minted out 5 minutes. Like, you know, an hour. And back then it was still like 0.02 is the mint, and it still took 6 hours from there. But it was man, an incredible like grassroots organic vibe though. And I think that speculatively looking back, that lower price entry point is just a lot more like user friendly, and obviously it's affordable, but it's more inviting in that way. It's not like we're like looking for bukus of money or anything like that. It's just, you know, we wanted the cats to get into a lot of people's hands, and that's what happened.
Yeah, that's awesome. And like you said, that's kind of crazy to think. You like nowadays 6 hours, like, oh man, that project, I don't know if it's going to do too good.
Yeah, not going to make it.
But back then, I mean, it would take a month, and if not, some projects took forever to mint out fully.
Man.
But speaking of like, you know, successful projects and everything, you guys are one of the first projects to actually get a big name partnership with the Time deal. Can you kind of expand on that and tell us how that came about, and, you know, what's really involved with partnering with such a big corporation like Time?
Yeah, so they were the first like Web 2 sort of big Titan industry people we collabed with, which was great. And it was also really funny too, because when Keith showed up, he's the president of Time. Keith, he showed up in the Discord, and we're like, is that actually him, or is this just like a guy with the Time, you know, avatar? Like, we didn't know. But then it turns out like he's a really innovative, cutting edge, sort of progressive guy in the space, and he's just really trying to throw himself and the brand in the mix and be part of the conversation in a really authentic and tactful way as well. Because I think one of the sort of recurring things with a lot of these Web 2 brands is they have this pre-existing following or clout or traction, but they don't really know how to like get into the Web 3 side, or they sort of think that they can just force their way in. You know, it's just like kick down the door and be like, you know, we get it. We did this in Web 2 already. But with Time, it was this very like, hey, let's do a collaboration. You guys have sort of been like leading the way over here. Like, how can we plug into what you guys are doing in a way that's like organic and makes sense? So yeah, we did Klon did these illustrations here of the founders reading Time magazines, and it was just I think, I don't even remember how the drop was. I think it was all cat holders at the time, randomly got dropped one of each of them. But it's really humbling and cool to have them be like ingrained in our sort of like early. We were just freestyling together, you know. There was no major objective other than just like, let's notice each other, you know. Like, we're new, we just got here, you like what we're doing, you guys are older and established, and like, we commend you guys, so let's, you know, how do we make that work? So super shout out to Keith for sure.
Yeah, that's incredible. And also to see someone, like you said, see someone that you wouldn't expect in the Discord. You're like, I don't know if this is a troll or if this is actually really happening, but like, boom, you're like, now you're actually talking to him. And even speaking of that, you had someone like Mike Tyson in the early days, quote unquote, when we're talking about moving fast, of July of 2021. Mike Tyson changed his profile picture to a cool cat. Like, what's your reaction to that kind of thing? Like, these celebrities doing it.
That was out of the blue too.
Ones that you can speak on that are kind of cool.
Let's see. Batista, he's a Spanish musician, songwriter guy. Reese Witherspoon, I think she's a holder. Steve Aoki.
You mentioned shoes.
There's a couple. I don't know off the top of my head, but it's like this continually growing list, which is great, but it's so like, it's just insane because you get in this routine of you're just trying to keep up with the news on Twitter, and you just open your eyes and you're like, wait a second, who just bought a cat? And like, did they just, this is like of their own volition? Like no one, this isn't like paid whatever. It's just people, and that's what's so, I think, inspiring and like fresh about the Web3 space is these celebrities or entities or brands from all over like noticing this new movement, and they just want to be a part of it. And it's cool sort of seeing like who all wants to be a part of it. And it's just, you wake up one day, scroll through the feed, and you're like, oh, Puma's got a cool cat as their profile picture. Like, this is cool. Like, I guess we got to talk to them and explore this a little bit. So it's nutty, but it's just the beginning. You know, it's cliche to say, because it's like, it's just the beginning, but it really is just the beginning. We're not even a year in. A year is coming up, but we have tons of plans to continue growing and scaling the IP. And like, so the CAA thing we announced last week, which we're really excited for. And if people aren't familiar with what CAA does, they're a creative artist agency. So what they do is they help partner with celebrities or brands or scale the IP in a way that makes sense, you know. So if we wanted to work with so-and-so, they can help make that conversation happen, because a lot of these brands and celebrities, they're either like out of reach or they have their own sort of ways to get in touch with them. So yeah, we're really excited to, we had been working on that, and any celebrity who's been onboarded like previously, that's just been their own volition thing. So we're really excited to see how they can plug in a way that they can tap their network, because they've been doing this for years and years. Like, this is what they do. So we're the new kid on the block that's going to work with them. So it should be an exciting rest of the year. That's for sure.
Yeah, it's definitely probably surreal. I mean, to say the least.
Yeah, that's the word I say a lot.
Yeah, and awesome to see the organic growth. And as you mentioned, you know, those celebrities who are buying, that was all on their own. It's not, you know, a marketing or anything like that. So, you know, we're super excited, to see what CAA brings to the table as well. Evan, I want to dive into Cool Pets here. So Cool Pets is, launched by Cool Cats, and this isn't like a normal NFT reveal though, like we're used to. You have to interact with your Cool Pet in game in order to evolve it. Can you break down some of the gaming aspects here of Cool Pets and how that mechanism works?
Yeah, so Cool Pets is tied to our gamified system that's going to be live on the website soon, TM. And how it works is every pet holder can go on quests and earn milk. Milk is the token that you use to interact with our system. You spend milk on loot boxes and items, and those items that you get, you feed to your pet. So it's very akin to like a Neopet type of Pokemon vibe, where there's evolutions, and there's also elements as well. We have grass, fire, water, and wind. I think that's what they are. Yeah. Which is interesting because by design, we didn't want to do it in a proportional way where it's like equal parts, 25%, 25%, 25%. So what's really, really cool, and I think will be fascinating, is once just about all of them are fully evolved in their final form, there's going to be a lot of like meta levels to it as well. Like maybe there's a surplus in fire, and maybe there's a surplus in water, and there's going to be just like this underlying strategy that I think perpetuates more trading and more like sub strategy that can further perpetuate the game itself. But yeah, so Cooltopia phase 1, its primary function is to do just that: hatch your egg, get your pet to its final form. To touch on it briefly, when we initially attempted to open the gates to Cooltopia, it was a little bit of a hiccup. We're just about to the finish line of it, but with issues on our back end and also Polygon, and just ultimately realizing we needed to restructure a lot of what we had, so it was just a lot more stable. So we had to take more time on it, but that's the space, that's the like, nothing is easy, I'll tell you that much. And it's a very like, we're learning through the way on how to be as optimal as we can be in the business that we're growing. And there's always learning lessons along the way that are humbling, and they're good for you, I think. But yeah, that's the skinny on Cool Pets. That's the second collection that's come out by Cool Cats. So yeah.
Awesome. You mentioned the milk token, which can be earned by questing through the Cool Pets. Cool Cats also passively earn milk. Can you just talk a little bit more about the utility of the milk token and what some other items are that can be used for within the ecosystem?
Yeah, so milk is our utility token. Think of it as like our gamified token. So if you're a cat holder, you passively earn milk that you're going to be able to claim on a daily basis. If you're a pet holder, you can earn milk by going through quests. So V1 of Cooltopia, the milk sink is going to be spending milk on items and also earning it through quests. But as we continue to grow our game offerings, our mini games, our additional merch, and potential future collaborations, the idea is to have milk be this functional utility tool to have a variety of ways to be spendable and to be spendable. So that's the Cooltopia V1 in its current form. Like that's where the primary milk sink is, if you will, or the milk sponge. But it's gonna be our like our base in-game token. So it's designed to keep adding to it. So it'll be exciting to see how we continually scale that out. And who doesn't like milk, right?
Right. A lot of people in the chat there, talking about milk as well. Evan, you heard me talk, and ask about the mint price of the Cool Cats. I gotta ask about Cool Pets. So a price of 0.5 ETH for the public sale. My question's more on the side of things of doing a public mint at a set price versus a Dutch auction. We saw Mutant Ape Yacht Club, we saw World of Women Galaxy, and some of these other projects do Dutch auctions and a higher mint cost, compared to Cool Pets. What went into some of the decision of, hey, 0.5 is going to be the price, and we're going to do a public sale and not a Dutch auction here?
Yeah, there was a lot of variables, and it's tough too because the bigger we grow, the more attention we get, the more people are in our community, the more like overly meticulous and conscientious you need to be about everything you introduce, price points, total supply, that type of stuff. So for starters, all cat holders were able to claim a pet for free as well. So that was our initial, like, we got to give back to the OGs, to the early supporters. So now that that's sorted, like, what do we do with the remaining supply? So we toyed briefly with the idea of a Dutch auction, but our sort of, ideology on that, not to knock people who've done Dutch auctions, but it just ultimately, it still prices a lot of people out, and one of the components of the Cool Cats ethos is to be accessible and inclusive. And while 0.5 ETH is definitely more than what the cats were, we believe that to be proportional to like how much the brand has grown. And also, like, if we want to build what we want to build, we need some capital to play with, like to bring more people on, bring game devs on, bring more Solidity devs on, more everything. We needed to tap that. So we could have definitely raised more if we did go the Dutch auction route, but it would have probably resonated in the more of like a greedy, like, oh, I couldn't get a pet, I couldn't get a cat, like, see you guys later kind of thing. So that's how we landed on there. And I think that it was ultimately the right thing to do, honestly.
Love the transparency and the honest answers here, Evan. Again, we always try to dive into, the education side of things and really get some of that behind the scenes looks here on the roadmap with the different NFT founders. So, again, a big shout out to you, just for explaining some of these decisions and what went into it. We appreciate it.
Yeah, that goes a long way with community too. I mean, it goes along with everybody. I mean, that's awesome. You do not see that very often. I think that's one of the reasons why people like this project so much. That's one of the reasons I do, at least. One thing that we love to ask on the roadmap, and we ask every project, but it's our favorite question, and there's a reason for it because it's the most interesting, and it's to a lot of people, is what is your favorite traits of the Cool Cats? If you can name just a few, one, two, any of them.
I do like the double face, like the 4 eyes. I'm a fan of the visor. I've got a green visor on my cat, but I like both visors, green and purple visor. Yeah, just look at the double face. Like, what's not to? I'm a fan of just like the weirdo dudes, you know, like aliens, like the Four Eyes. Yeah, there's so many clean ones. I love a good Halo, you know, resonates really well with me. There's so many combinations. You don't know how many hours I've spent. Me and Klon have spent just like not just hanging out on the internet, just scrolling through like, dude, look at this one, like this one. Yeah, the astronaut suit, I'm a sucker for.
Is
But
that from
something
Dragon
about
Ball Z? The visor? Did you get that?
that
from...
was inspired by that for sure.
Okay,
Inspired
cool.
by that
Nailed
sure.
it. Knew
Yeah.
it.
Yeah,
Awesome.
nailed it. Yeah, that's what about you guys? What are some of your guys' favorite traits?
Level 9,000. I also like the double eyes. That's one of those traits that's kind of overlooked or from when people see it. I also like this one where well, like I'm pointing to my screen like you guys can freaking see it. Going with the small eyes and the big smile on the left with the headband, the red headband.
Oh yeah. That's a very without saying exactly. You ever like Ditto from Pokemon?
Yeah.
Just when he that's very like imposter. Like is he a blue cat or is he like someone in disguise?
Ooh, I like that idea. That's kind of cool. This dang dog.
You know.
Okay. So what about let's go to the cool pets now. What do you think about them? What kind of traits do you like there?
Well, none of them are revealed yet, so they're all just gonna look like eggs.
Ooh, I tried to sneak one in there for you.
Yeah. But that's a tough one, man. I go back because when I was a kid, I was I like Squirtle was my first like preferred starter for sure.
Mm-hmm.
But then as I got older,
that's crazy.
I gotta say Charmander here just to throw that out.
Your guy.
I was always a Squirtle guy.
My kids do Charmander, but yeah. As long as you didn't say Bulbasaur, I feel like that's the one that no one picked.
Look, I spoke too soon, man. I was about to say I evolved.
Oh no!
Like Venusaur was so sick though. Like
he was. Yeah, the later on, but Bulbasaur at first. I just feel like
I know. I don't know what it was about Squirtle, but I think it was but Blastoise too, like with the cannons. Like, I don't know. They're all just so cool.
The easiest because the water. Oh, we can just. I was such a Pokemon nerd when I was growing up, but the water, the grass, and the fire, or beat the fire and the stone, and so the first gym leaders we had to fight Brock was like one of the first ones you could easily win with Squirrel. Guys, I mean, I was born in 1990.
This guy's played Pokemon before.
Oh yeah, it was my favorite game. Well, what was your favorite elements? I guess so. We've already we went full circle here. So I guess water maybe would be your favorite.
Yeah, dude, man, I really can't. It pains me how long it's taken of like the hiccups of opening Cooltopia, which like we're getting there by the way. And shout out the community for staying with us. I promise you, it's gonna be worth the wait. The pets are coming. Like everyone's gonna love the pets. Just wait. But it pains me because there's so many sick attributes in all of the elements that like once people start seeing, we've been teasing little glimpses here, and we've had the open beta so people can use their imagination a little bit. But there's so many like distinct iconic elements per each element. But I feel like I might be a fire guy. They're also it's tough, man. It's like your favorite ice cream. I love all the ice cream.
Oh, I totally understand. It's like asking someone like, "What's your favorite movie? What's your favorite band?" It's like depends on the mood.
Depends on the day, depends on the mood. You know,
I gotta say I like the fire ones. I don't know. I'm a sucker for the fire ones, and I think the ones on screen there, fire would jump out to me.
The air is pretty cool because it's kind of a newer thing, but I like the water ones. I mean, there's not one I don't like, but maybe we can segue into something else that's really interesting about something that Cool Cats has done and what every project does. But since Cool Cats kind of started the whole time collab, you've been doing a lot of collaborations with other projects too. Like you have one coming up with Toy Boogers, combining Deadfellas, Robotos, and Toy Boogers. Along with Cool Cats called Kit Bash Boogers, I believe. And well, maybe you can like kind of expand on that and maybe say how that kind of helps build each one of the communities up and also kind of brings them all together. And like, what's your take on that?
Yeah, so that's what's fascinating about the NFT Web3 space is how progressive and collaborative and inclusive it is. And so he reached out to us for this one, more so Klon. He's better to talk about it than me, but I saw it all bubbling in the background. But his idea was to just combine components of of each of these collections that he, you know, loved and respected and admired in a way that was like celebrating all of us. And it's crazy because he did all the toy boogers like hand assembled one by one, which is like that's just insanity. But seeing his ideology and approach in his first collection, the toy boogers collection, but like be plugged in with these other ones is like it feels like we're all like, it's his collection, but it's a privilege to be a part of it, and it's also like a celebration, and it perpetuates like the validity, I think, in a lot of ways too. And it's that's something I think we see time and time again in the Web3 space, is this like these odes and acknowledgments to each other, and it's all like, it comes from a good place, you know. Like sometimes, you know, you see a derivative that might be a little low effort and a rip or something, but you know, this is definitely not that. When it's done right and when it's done well and when it's celebrated, and like a collaboration like this, like, you know, what's not to love? And it's really cool just seeing. It takes me back to when I was younger, you know, having just like goofy toys and things, mashed potato head style of them together, like. And I think he achieved that here, so I'm excited to continue checking out his collections, this collection. The more I see it reveal.
Oh yeah, well, I mean, I think we even we went through this list. These that are on the screen right now, we told our favorites, and there wasn't one that we didn't like, but we liked a lot of them. And I know, like, so my wife doesn't really get NFTs. She doesn't really think. She just thinks that they're pictures, and she just doesn't get the whole thing around it. She doesn't understand the technology. She doesn't really know, so I can't really blame her. And she just sees it on the news or whatever, and it makes sense. But I think that she would really like this one. And shout out to my wife. I love you, baby. You're really smart, and you do other things.
We love the wife. Yeah.
We love the wife.
We love the wives always. But the one cool thing I like about this is something I think that she would actually like. This is what I was kind of getting at. And the whole collaboration, building communities together. And what you said, you see a lot of these low tier effort rip-offs of projects. But like, this is one of the cooler collabs because it mixes a bunch of different aspects of really, really high end NFT projects into one. And I know you can't really go into like the details of what it'll do because it's not released yet. But like, I'm very excited to see like what's all going to come about, the functionality of all these minds working together and all you guys collabing.
Oh yeah, it's fascinating. When it's done right, I think it's really like a 1 + 1 = 3 kind of thing. You know, it's just like two forces that have nothing to do with each other, but also like the same alignment together, and they can just bring something like this, what we're looking at here, together. So it's exciting. It's exciting.
And then the last one before I throw it back over to Chris. What is a measure of success outside of just floor price alone? What measures? What is the measurement of success for you in a great NFT project?
That's tough. There's a lot of ways to answer that one. I mean, like organic community engagement. You know, who's buying your into your project, where like who's writing about your project, sort of even the types of speculations that comes around it. Just like, oh, Disney's gonna buy this one, like, you know. I think those are all like even the rumors and the FUD. And also to the other side of the pendulum, I think that one thing that perpetuates and reinforces like how strong the community is when things don't go right, which like in Web3, a lot of things don't go right a lot of the time. But if you got the diehard loyal fans still there, and it's like they can't. You know, it's like you've come this far. There might have been a hiccup or a little bit of oopsie, but that's sort of the reassuring thing to me, where, you know, floor price might dip, but that sentiment of people are in love with the character or really resonate with, you know, the ethos of a community or something, or of a project or something. So I think I feel like it's cliche sometimes talking about the community, but like that's really what it is. It's the, you know, people just around the globe on a global level are just like, this resonates with me. I want to be a part of this. And like, no one is like setting out asking for that or seeking for that. It's just sort of like happening. So I think that's a big success metric for sure.
And I will add, Evan, you know, we get a ton of viewers and listeners, you know, from all over the world, but obviously, you know, with being a financial site first, Benzinga, we get a lot of US based people. But even in the chat today, you know, I saw Japan, Thailand, and some other countries mentioned where people are tuning in from. And I think that shows, you know, the international success and people that have been drawn into this project. And as cliche as it sounds, I mean, community is one of the most important things for NFT projects. So we appreciate the answer there. I want to dive in a little bit to the creative arts agency deal. You hit on it earlier. So my question for you, and I don't know if you can get into this, obviously you don't have to name any names, but were other talent agencies also considered? And was this, you know, Cool Cats seeking a partner, or did CAA come to you guys?
So we know that so one of the like pillars in how our perception of the brand is like it's imperative, and it's also within our what we want to achieve in like scaling the IP. And you do that by having deals where people who have access to other brands or celebrities or IP can collaborate in a way that it just makes sense. So we knew that we wanted to help because like that started just us four, and there's a lot of instances where we're just like, we have these grand big ideas, but like, how do you connect these dots? Like, I don't know, we don't know. So yeah, CAA got on our radar, and we started exploring conversations with them because we shopped around the idea a little bit, and it just they seemed to be the person that made the most sense to work with. So yeah, I can't get into overly specifics of like what the, you know, any conversations happening in there, but the thinking there is at least like we can let them know our objectives of what we'd like to achieve. You know, hey, Cool Cats wants to have a blue cat in a McDonald's Happy Meal. Like, how do we get that conversation going to make that happen? So they're the
let's get that conversation going.
That's also not happening. Let me throw that out there right now. At least, you know,
well, we can make it happen.
Oh man, boy, would my kids be excited.
Yeah, that would be exciting. But that would be they're the people who they have the pipeline and the infrastructure to do that. So they're you know, you need the bigger we grow, the more people we need who are like they're more specialized in the information. So you can say, hey, here's this idea. Like, can you guys do this? And then they can do that for us, hopefully. So yeah, we're excited to see how all that plays out. But that's the thinking behind that.
Awesome.
Sweet.
Well, you know, in that CAA deal, obviously it mentioned, you know, licensing, merchandising, animated content, brand partnerships, live events, publishing, and more. I want to turn to the animated content side of things. We've talked to some other teams like Toy Boogers, Robotos, who have deals in place to bring a show to life. So my question for you is more of just a personal preference. Like, if you had to pick for Cool Cats, do you see this, you know, being more of a TV show style or a, you know, movie and longer content form?
I think the TV show style is probably the healthier starting point because there's a lot that we're going to be learning through all this. Whereas I think that the movie comes like once you have more insights on who your audience is, what people are responding to. You know, like I look at Pokemon a lot just because they've done so much. Where starting from a trading card game to Game Boy to like they had multiple series to they had multiple movies. So we want to do it all, but we also want to be like tactful and intentional with how we do it. And you know, that's definitely on our radar. But our number one like prerogative and trajectory focus is definitely like the gamified play. You know, like we really want Cooltopia to be this place where people all over the globe and all over the web can have mini game experiences, grander, more fleshed out game experiences, all these interactions, have these community engagements, earn milk token, spend milk token, like really grow that gamified economy. So the animation series, like these are things on our radar of like, yes, we want to do those, but those I think will come like after we get our proper footing on like the gamified, you know, approach of what we want to do.
Awesome.
Yeah. I had my mom's watching the show. She just sent me some text messages, being a sweetie pie. Hey, Mom.
Hopefully she's enjoying. Hopefully she's enjoying the show. Shout out.
Mom.
She likes
Shout
the
out to
cats.
Mom.
Yeah,
We
I'll
love
say
the
hey to my
cats.
mom.
Yeah.
Hello, Mom.
Hey,
She doesn't.
Mom.
My
Hey, all
dad
the
watches
moms out
Say
there.
Dad too.
Mom and
Dave
Dad. I think
Moore.
they're both watching, actually. Yeah. Shout out Mom and
Hello
Dad.
to all the parents.
Yeah, all the
We
moms.
like
love that.
we like the parents. We like
the
parents.
parents. Yeah.
Hey, we like the parents. We're all on Benzinga, you know. I guess that's something. There you go.
Yeah.
Thanks. So, hey, let's talk about South by Southwest. That was a
Cool.
huge deal. I mean, you guys were everywhere, all over it. Do we even need to go into detail? I mean, just tell me what that was all about. Did you go? Did you love it? Was it exciting?
It was exciting. All the above. Yeah. So I live in Austin, actually. So it was in my backyard, which is really cool. It's great to have these moments where you're at a place and community members can show up, and there's just that like real connection there. And it's also interesting too, because you'll meet people who are like, I'm so and so on Twitter, and like you're like, I know your like profile picture, but it's like you have to like get used to their like human version. It's like we're not on like LinkedIn and like Web2 anymore, where everyone's faces are around. It's like I'm used to seeing like the cat version of you. But we had a draw along with Klon. That was really cool. A lot of people came through. We had a pizza party sesh. We had a little cutout, and it was a good, healthy vibe. It was I think it was like 4 or 5 days total. A lot of conversations, a lot of networking. It was just overall good vibes. And let's see, we checked out the Doodles event too. Their event was like really, really epic. They had like a proper experience. But we learned a lot. I think that for the next event we want to do. Yeah. Well, or this year, this year even. It's just it's tough, because one of the conversations we're having is like you don't want to spread yourself too thin, and there's so many NFT events, NFT LA, NYC, PAX, like just pick a city, and it's just like the NFT version. Like, are you going? Yeah. So it's I think we're still sort of like finding our footing on like how big we show up in certain places, as opposed to like spreading ourselves too thin and just having a small presence there or something. So but like here's a little it was good vibes. We had some neon lights, a little chugs action.
Is this about the pizzeria? Can you talk about that? I know you guys took over
Rapolo's. Yeah,
look at that. We love them.
It was good times, man. It was good.
Man, wish I could have made it to Texas. This looks sweet.
Just so you guys know, I just correlated WL. We love those cats. WLT.
We like the cats.
That just clicked. I had no idea what the hell you guys were talking about. And, I'm embarrassed to say it on stream, but yeah, it just clicked. I get it now.
That's okay. There's so much. It's funny how that works in like NFT land. People are like, what do you think about this project? And I'm like, dude, I've been under a rock. Like, what is that project?
No idea.
Yeah. I don't know.
Oh man, it did this, and that. I'm like, I don't know. You have a YouTube show. I know.
I don't know. Yeah. Can I get the third grade version?
Yeah. People are DMing me all day about it. So talking about people DMing and all that kind of stuff, you guys do a lot of Discord and things like that. How important do you think Discord and like Twitter Spaces are in the NFT community as a whole? Of course it is important, but what's your take on it?
Yeah, I think everyone starts at, I see you, Marv. I think everyone starts at Twitter and the funnel, and then like is led to Discord. And it's tough, because I think it's tough because like Twitter and crypto Twitter, NFT Twitter, there's a lot of good conversations happening, but there's also a lot of noise too. And it's like really difficult you have to like curate your feed and your following and who you're even tapped into. Otherwise, you might spend an entire day trying to find the next project or the alpha or whatever it may be. And you're just like, I'm more confused today than I was yesterday. And so I think Discords, for the most part, function a bit more like a bit more curated, but even still, like I'm in a zillion Discords. I don't want to be in a zillion Discords, but it's like I have to be. And I feel like we're so early with the Web3 like community building and conversation. It's all really spread out, but that's what I like. my boy Jake, he's doing MetaLink, right? Yeah, MetaLink. Yeah, he's doing MetaLink, which is I don't know if you guys have checked it out. Where if you have a cat or a pet, I believe you can.
We got a dog right here. I got 2 of them. I'll show you.
you can use their platform and have like private conversations with holders of that community, which I think is a step in the right direction of sort of filtering out the noise, just because Twitter is just nonsense sometimes. So it's this case of like, you can't have one without the other, and they're both like imperative for the spreading of information in regards to projects or alpha or news, both good and bad. But it's like, it's still insane. It's just, you got to put your helmet on and like gear up and just like, I'm going in.
You're not going to be able to find every time something. It's just like stocks or anything else. You're never going to be able to find every single major play. So it's always good if you have some sort of tool or use something like what you just said, MetaLink, in order to kind of hone in and like be in the community you want to be in, and filter out all the nonsense or the noise.
Yeah. And you mentioned like Twitter Spaces briefly. It's interesting because when I was discovering just NFTs last year, like that was the first time I really dabbled briefly with Clubhouse, and I really like that idea, and like, oh, these spaces for people to share is way more effective than just like typing on the keyboard all day. But then, I feel like Twitter Spaces really took the piece of that pie, but now it's this weird delicate dance of, it's like the Twitter algorithm favors just people being active in spaces, and I'm just like, it's not sustainable that people have like this much good information all the time. It's like, no one is saying like this prolific alpha like every day, so it's this it's that threshold between like quality versus quantity that I think we're all making noise, whether we admit that it's like noise or not. It's just like fine tuning and honing in on what you're listening to is, I think, the most important component at the end of all that.
Yeah. So, do you have any other plans for Cool Cats in the future besides pretty much everything you've already laid out?
Yeah.
Anything
Well,
else
besides literally everything. Yeah. So I mean, just like, look at how Pokemon scaled their IP. We want Cool Cats to be inclusive and accessible for everyone. So it's refreshing and awesome that, oh, your daughter, your son likes the cats, loves the cats, but like, their interaction or their first touch point with it is, my dad owns this $30,000 NFT. It's just like, that's a big disconnect of that. So it's really imperative for us to have plushies and merch and toys and accessories and games, and for people to be able to touch it and experience, Cooltopia as a whole, like interact with, exactly, and just interact with everything we're offering. So we're really leaning into that and making accessibility and inclusivity just like one of our primary tenants. And it's going to be a big ask for sure, but we have the right people on the team. We've been growing a bunch. We have a great internal roadmap that's continually developing of what we want to bring to the market. But it's like A, B, C, or D. It's like D, all the above. Like we're trying to do it all. Yeah. So stay tuned.
Gary V said one thing I saw one of his, I saw it on TikTok or something, but he said something that Andrew Schultz, a comedian, asked him like, what are NFTs? Like, why should I fall into what he said, this bullshit? Like, why should I do this? He's like, the JPEG, the image isn't the thing. It's all about the brand. It's all about the experience. It's all about the team, the marketing. Some make it, some don't. There's 1,000 different Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles that tried. There's 1,000 different Harry Potter areas that tried. It's all about the brand. One of them's going to stick, and Cool Cats is one that's going to stick, and it's the brand, the plushies, the game, all this other stuff. It's not
all those touch points.
It's not just the $30,000 image. It's the entire thing. It's the whole ecosystem, whole sphere. And you guys have it nailed. And I'm more than impressed. I'm sure our viewers are. I know I am. I'm sure Chris is. I'm not gonna speak for him, but I know he loves it too. But I'll let even
Chris
they're
okay.
finish up the
you can
question.
speak for me, Brian. Evan, I just want to follow up on that. I think that was a great point. My kids, they love NFTs, but they're too young to even understand like what they are, right? They
Yeah.
also are too young to understand what the price of Ethereum is. So when I show them pictures, they have no
Yeah.
idea how much they cost, right? But they
Right.
love Cool Cats and some of these other projects like Robotos. You know, they could spend hours looking at these pictures. And
Yeah,
I think
yeah.
that resonates so well into, you know, turning into a TV show. But I like what you said, you know, about plushies. I mean, I saw publishing mentioned, you know, in the CAA deal. If I could read a Cool Cats book to my kids, you know, before bedtime, like that's
Right.
awesome in the future.
Yeah.
So I just really like that, you know, on a dad level of connecting this project with kids too, I think is huge.
And yeah, we're both
that's
dads,
great to
so we
hear.
love that.
Yeah, we like the dads too. Yeah, that's great to hear.
We like
You
the
don't
dads.
like you're not doing yourself or your community or your brand, your IP any service if it's like, hey, do you want one? Oh, well, like you can't afford it. Like that's too bad. You know, like throwing a Cool Cat on a Snickers bar, it's like you're still getting this experience of like I'm part of the family, like I'm participating. So it's about making sure we can like scale that participation in ways that transcend the blockchain. So like the blockchain and NFTs were definitely our starting point, and that's our bag. Like we're comfortable with that. We know that dance, but it's like how do we expand the Venn diagram of touch points, and that's what it's all about right here, quite frankly.
That's right. And Cool Cat Snickers collab. You heard it here first.
Yeah, not official, guys. Please do not. Please do not.
Just kidding.
Well, Evan, we're running out of time here. I did see a couple questions in the chat earlier. One of them was from Michael asking, is that new merch you're wearing? So just your sweatshirt, is that new or is that a project already out?
This whole thing. Oh no, this was a test print run previously. This is a one of one.
Send us some test print
one of one.
I'm just saying we will be happy.
But to that effect, I will say we're in the process of our merch and more will be expanding and evolving in the foreseeable future.
Hell yeah.
That's all I got.
Let us know.
In that same, we will wear some Cool Cats merch on stream here. In that same merch of, you know, the future, I know you can't give us specifics, but there was a couple questions in the chat on when you said that the game is launching soon. What does soon mean? Any way you could give us like a ballpark or a quarter, a month or something? Soon. We'll stick with soon.
No pressure. Yeah. Sooner than later.
Sooner than later. We will do it. All right. Well,
you gotta understand that is the one thing we talk about internally on a daily basis is like how are we gonna get this out as soon as possible? So
when launch.
That's the conversation. That's the like it's as soon as we can. It's as soon as we can. Yeah.
Well, Evan, this has been great. I just noticed, as I said a minute ago, it's 3:00. We got to wrap because we have another show coming up. We hope to have you back on the show in the future. Maybe when Cool Pets, are officially out there, we can talk about some of those traits and get into that. Maybe we can bring Klon on as well.
Oh, yeah.
We are huge fans of this project, and again, not to be too sentimental here, but speaking, from a dad and Brian, a dad here, I really like the conversation of, building out some of those other items to connect to kids and, different audiences. So I appreciate what you're doing, for the overall NFT community here.
Thank you guys. And thanks for taking the time. It's important and healthy to have dialogues like this to sort of see behind the veil a little bit and be able to articulate sort of what our plans are. But it's just the beginning. It's all about accessibility. Thank you guys for being a part of the community and holders. And it always pleases me hearing that the kids like the cats, because let's be real, we all like the cats.
We all like the cats.
I mean, this is probably one of my favorite interviews I've done in my career of Benzinga.
You haven't been here long then, huh?
Well, I mean, I've been doing these interviews for about a year, so I mean, not too long.
Well, that means a lot, man. That means a lot. That means a lot.
No, I agree. Evan, this has been so much fun. We're out of time. We're going to let you go. We appreciate it, though. I'm going to pull you off screen here. We're going to share that code here a minute. So, Evan, thank you again for taking time out of your busy day and joining us here. All right, we like the cats,
Yeah,
Brian. What a
bus.
fun interview. I know everyone's gonna start hounding us in the chat right now, right? We teased it at the start of the show. Let me drop the link one more time in the chat so everyone knows. Click on this link and you are able to enter a contest to win $1,000 in Ethereum. That contest runs through Thursday. We will announce the winner on a show next week. You can get entries in the contest by following us on Twitter, liking us on YouTube, visiting us on Facebook. You also can earn 5 additional entries by entering our secret YouTube code. What is the secret YouTube code? It is, we will put it in the chat here as well.
I'm not going to tell you
It
yet.
is Cool Cats on Benzinga. Cool Cats, there it is on the screen. Cool Cats on Benzinga. That is your code. Put it in there. Get those extra entries for your shot at winning $1,000 in Ethereum, guys. This has been great. Again, that code right there on the screen. But if you're listening in on our podcast and you can't see the screen, Cool Cats on Benzinga. It is in all caps. I don't know if you have to do it in all caps or not. That's above my pay grade, but try them both. So, yeah, Cool Cats on Benzinga. All right, guys, that's going to do it. Coming up next, Benzinga Pro, a new show where they will walk through all the different things that you can do with Benzinga Pro to get advantages in the stock market. And then that will be followed by pre-market prep at the close with Spencer and Joel. Take care, everyone. We'll be back at 2 p.m. Eastern time tomorrow for another episode of The Roadmap. We like the cats.